welcome to the video. We're out for another wild solo camp in the Mourne Mountains, and today we'll review the Lanshan 1 track and pull tent. Let's go and find somewhere to camp. There we are, there's another fellow camper camping here at a Tracy track. Hillberg, very nice. Whoa, what a day! The sun is out, I'm absolutely roasting, and I'm looking forward to get to our campsite. We're headed to right here. Hi folks, decided to stop for a wee break. The walk to the campsite's about 8 kilometers from the car park. We're about halfway, and I think this is the hard half, so the next half should be fairly easy. Decided to stop here at the wall, get myself an energy drink, sit, relax for 5 minutes and catch my breath. I'm looking forward to doing this review video because I've been using the Lanshan now for the best part of a year. I've been out camping in it in all different types of weather. I've been out probably about a dozen times in it. So it should be a good video and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, time to... Oh, so good. Break time's over. Let's get going. Can you see that there? That's burnt grass. There was wildfires up here last week. And look at this whole place. It's all just burnt up. There's Sleeve Burner, and you can see half of it is completely burnt. That's a massive valley. Massive valley, and apparently there was some 25-year-old has been arrested for arson. So I know this isn't going to sound very good, but see all this burnt grass here? It smells like charcoal, like a barbecue. It's making me really hungry. It smells exactly like a barbecue. When I was walking up, I could smell it, and I thought to myself, there's no way someone's doing a barbecue up in the Mournes after these wildfires. But it's the grass that smells like charcoal. It's probably the peat. It's probably the peat. That would make sense. Anyway, thought I would share that way. It smells like a barbecue. It's really good. I still can't see. I'm looking to camp right at this edge. Please, 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 please. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. There's nobody there. We have got one of the best camping spots in the Mournes tonight. Oh yes, we'll find our spot. Right, before we get into the tent review, give this here a soak. Refresh myself a wee bit after the walk. Oh, that's amazing. Pass that over. Cheers. So, this is the Lanshan 1 track and pull tent. We're going to be doing a review on this today. As you can see, it is very small. and it weighs almost nothing. It's only 900 grams, and the reason for that is because it doesn't have any poles, hence the name tracking pole tent. So you need to have your own tracking poles. Now the stuff sack that it comes into is very big, very roomy. For anyone that knows, when you go out camping, packing your tent away can be a bit of a nightmare sometimes, especially if it's wet, and sometimes you have to shove it in. But the Lanshan bag, you see there's plenty of room, and even if it's completely soaking, you can roll it up and you can throw it in here real quick. The bag is waterproof, so nothing else in your rucksack will get wet, and then you can hang it up when you get home. So let's take a look and see what comes with it. Out of the bag, you get the tent, all the guy lines, everything's already attached. It's a 2-layer tent, but the inner is already connected to the outer, and you get 8 pegs. So they're sort of these pegs here, and they can be a bit of a pain in the ass to push in with your hand, but this is probably the best hack that I've ever seen. If you use a water cap lid, you can use that to push it into the ground, and you won't end up with indentations in your hand. Right, let's start getting it put up. If you're not sure that your pitch is flat, the best thing to do is test it out. No, not feeling this way. Oh. Yeah, that feels good. That feels good. Right, so that's it laid out in the position where I'm going to pitch it. You need to make sure that you're keeping this here part at the front, because this is where your pole is going to go. That's where your door is. So that's important to remember. Let's start to stake this tent out. So when you're staking it out, you need to remember that the inner and the outer is connected. So what I do is I make the outer to the maximum length, and the inner is a set length. So the way I'll do it is you slide on the outer first because it's on top, then you put the inner on, and then go sort of at about a 45-degree angle. If you go with the seam of the tent, it helps a lot, and it'll give it a better shape when it's up. And I'm going to use my cap here to bam push it in. I'm going to pitch all around first, and then I'll go around and tighten everything up after I've got the pole put in. So let's get the rest of these pegs done. Number 2, and number 3, that's number 4, and then the one on the back of the tent, number 5. This is where the magic happens. This is when you turn your tracking pole into a tent pole. So it is advised to set your pole between 115 centimeters and 125. I personally always go for 115 because I like it down low. It keeps the wind out. So that's what I'm going for. After you've got your tracking pole set, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find this black cover, and inside it you'll feel a pocket. And what you're going to want to do is put your handle into that pocket, and then you want to put your tracking pole into its wee spot. Right, after the pole is put in, what I do is take my guy line for the front, stretch it out as far as it goes, and push it into the ground. Take another peg, put it to the bottom of the door, and get that into the ground. There we go. Right, so if you know anything about Lanshans, you might be thinking to yourself, what the hell has that guy just done? He isn't setting this tent up right, because the guy line from the top is supposed to go down and bend and go back to the door with these 2 clips here, if you can see them. With the sun, these clips are supposed to connect to these hoops. But the thing is, I don't like that setup because it leaves a very, very high gap under the doors, and lots of wind can blow through, and I don't like that. Plus, I've seen that these break all the time as well, and you don't want to be out in some windy condition night and that breaking on you. Time to start tightening up the outer, give the tent a bit more shape. And I think that's looking better already. Last thing to do is put out the guy lines. There's 3 guy lines, 1 on each side and 1 on the back. For the back one, I've decided that I'm going to use one of my other poles, wrap it round, get it into the ground here, put it in the middle, and then stake it out from here. And as you can see, that's pulling on the tent. It's pulling on the inner, on the inside, and it's giving me a wee bit more room. You can also do this at either side as well. Maybe you notice that when you're sleeping, the inner keeps slapping you off the face or something. Put your tracking pole or a stick or whatever you want and prop it up. And there we go. That's it, pitched. So on the outside, you have a ventilation area, if you can see it because the sun's very bright. And then you have 2 Velcro straps, very strong Velcro. And then you have your zip. Zips are pretty good. They've never ever stuck for me, never one time. So let's get this thing rolled out. Then you roll the door out, simply roll from the bottom as tight as you can. And then it's got these wee ties here. Job done. You see, it holds it, it's not great. It can be a wee bit floppy sometimes, but that's just the way it is. It's not much of an issue for me. Right, so I have a 4-season inner. In this version of the tent you can get a 3-season as well, but I think it's £10 more for the 4-season. So this will keep all the drafts out in the winter time, and it definitely works. And then you can see at the very top there's some mesh for ventilation. So good stuff. So the zips for the inside, you've got a T-bar, you've got a zip that goes the full length of the tent each way, and then you have the middle one that goes up, nice bucket style inner. Then same again, just roll them up. Again, these can be a wee bit floppy, but I've got a wee hack. So what I'll do is I'll take the plastic bit off this and I'll hook it into the outer, and then it holds it much more tight and it doesn't flop around as much. And I'll do the same on the other side here as well. Let's start to look on the inside of the tent. As mentioned before, it's a 2-skin tent. So you have your inner and you have your outer. And one of the advantages of that there is there's less condensation. Luckily, I've never had this problem with this tent. I know that the Lanshan 1 Pro, it's a 1-skin. It's about 100 grams lighter, but personally I think this is a better tent because it's a 2-skin tent. So the inside is big enough for me to lie down in. I'm 6'1". I don't have any problem lying down. Nothing is touching my face. Now even when I have my airbed and I'm a couple more centimeters off the ground, still have nothing touching my face. I'm sitting here in the middle of the tent, nothing is touching me. I can sort of move around freely and moving into the tent. No pockets, no pockets, no pockets, no pockets. Oh, pocket! Look at this. This is the smallest pocket I've ever seen in any tent. It's like, what is the point of this here? I use this for nothing because it's not big enough for anything. The only other thing in the tent is this here. So this is for hanging your light on. And I'm gonna start setting up my bed so I can show you how much room is in the tent after you've got all your stuff unpacked. Silver foil, airbed, backpack behind the airbed to stop the airbed from rolling around. Time to get sleeping bag, soft pillow, and that's the setup. Right, that's me fully unpacked now. You can see I've opened the tent up because the sun is beaming down. So normally in the festival area, I have my water, my cook set, my frying pan and my cup and water filter and stuff. You can see all my bedding set up. And There's room there for my first aid kit, clothes, food, towel. I've got my wee plates. If you're wondering what these are like these are portable plates that sort of fold up to like this here. And when you're not using them for food, they're really good to keep all your crap together. Power bank, and then my tripod that I use for a mobile phone stand. So that's it, folks. That is the tent. Plenty of room on the inside. Later on when we're cooking dinner, I will close down one half of this here, sort of block out the wind a wee bit, and I'll show you that there is plenty of room. The last thing that I will say is the outer, if it's raining or there's a lot of water in the air, if the humidity is high, the material on the outside will stretch. So what I've got into a habit of doing is whenever I'm going for my tinkle before bedtime, I'll just run around the outside of the tent and give it a wee pull, and that does me good through the night. Oh, he's gonna come right over me. What is it doing? Can you see that wasp? Yeah. It's just flying around in circles. I hope I haven't done something wrong here. This is very strange. It looks like it's landing. It is landing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's not good. That smoke that I seen there was really just dust. But it sounds like it's getting further away. It circled over me. Made me nervous. Maybe I shouldn't be camping here, but... And this is why it's called a rock face. Huh. Before dinner, I need to take care of 2 points of business. First one is... Woo! And the second order of business is to walk around here to the small beach on the other side, because on the other side is the best chilling spot in the Mourne Mountains. This is normally all filled with water. I mean, look, here's the bank thing. Let's walk up it. Is this new? It looks new. I've never seen that before. I must have installed this here within the last 5 months. Awesome. Right, so there's the wee ice house. You know, I don't know if this is an ice house. Just anytime I see a building in the Mournes, I call it an ice house, because I'm kind of dumb like that. Alright, so there's nothing in here. There's an empty pot noodle, 2 rocks, and we're going to continue on this way. Right, here we are on the other side. I can just about see my tent. You won't be able to see it on the camera. Someone's built a big rock thing. Very nice. Unbelievable. Look, my rock. It's not sitting in any water. I know the Mournes is for everyone, but this is my fucking rock. Normally, I'll sit on the rock and I'll enjoy this absolutely beautiful view of all them mountaintops, but there's normally water here. There's normally water about 4 or 5 inches below where my feet are. Kind of doesn't really hit the same, you know. Right, let me get back around the road. I'm a wee bit pissed off that I couldn't sit on my rock, but it is what it is. We'll come back in 4 or 5 months. Here, look, what are these things? See these things here that people build? There's another one. Here's another one. That's 3. Unbelievable. There's another one. Unbelievable. Another one. This one comes with a frying pan, some fire starters, and what looks to be a burnt out speaker. Great job, great job. I mean, that one's hardly even an attempt. Like, what's the point? There's one. And then there's this one here. That's massive. Screw it. I'm only joking. I couldn't really kick it down. I mean, it's practically a summer snowman. Right, folks, back to the tent. Right. And here we are. Home sweet home. Right, it's dinner time. I said that we're gonna cook in the tent, but it's too nice outside, and you'll just need to take my word that you can cook in that tent no problem. In fact, watch some of my old videos. You can hear that helicopter. Some homemade coleslaw here that I left over from a barbecue I had the other night. Love a bit of coleslaw with sausage. And then I'll just use the rest for the extra 2 sausages here. But before we get dinner, we'll have to get this tin of Coke here out of the fridge. Oh, nice and cold. Seems to be helicopters doing rounds. Right, let's try one of these out. The hot sausages and the cold coleslaw. I'm gonna sit here and enjoy these, and when I'm finished, we'll do the pros and cons about the Lanshan one. Right, that is dinner finished. Them hot dogs were absolutely lovely. I think that they were the best hot dogs that I've ever had in my life. And the extra sausages and coleslaw went down a treat as well. So listen, let's get into the pros and cons about this Lanshan one. So first pro is 900 grams, pack small. You can have it up in 5 minutes if you know how to put it up. 5,000 hydrostatic head and double layer. Perfect. I have never had any issues with getting wet. So, you know, I would say that I would bring this out to maybe 30 miles an hour wind. Anything over that there, bring a proper tent. You know, a pole tent, not a trekking pole tent. Then the last pro about this is it's pretty cheap. At £140, you know, you're not going to get much better value. Right, so moving on to some of the cons. It's not a freestanding tent, so wherever you're going to pitch it, that's where it has to stay. You can't pick it up and move it. Another con about it is if it's set up to its proper height of 125 centimeters, these here, the doors, will lie maybe 3 or 4 inches off the ground, and it lets a lot of air in. So that's why I keep mine at 115. One of the disadvantages of that is the inside sags a little bit, and you can see now that the outer keeps banging off my head. But you know, that's kind of it. You know, the worst con about this tent is the learning curve that it takes to put it up, because you put it up in your back garden, which is perfectly flat probably, and you think to yourself, oh, that's easy. You bring it up into the mountains where nothing is flat, and then it takes you an hour to put the thing up and you hate it. But you know, if you sort of stick at it and you put it up in different areas, I've had this up in forests, I've had it up on summits, I've had it up down near streams and obviously near lakes here. So, and everywhere's different, so you know, there's a bit of a learning curve. I'd say that's the worst con about this tent, but overall, you know, I like it. It's probably my favourite tent at the minute. And I think that pretty much wraps up the review of the Lanshan one. I'm going to sit here for an hour, enjoy the weather. It's so quiet and peaceful up here, And this lake over here, there's not a single ripple on it. So I'm gonna sit here, sit outside, take it in for an hour, enjoy myself, and then I'll see you again in the morning. Good night, folks. Morning, folks. Time for a coffee. Go for a wee walk on the beach, so sort of in between getting something to eat and going to bed last night, made myself a wee hot chocolate and kind of just walked up and down this beach maybe 4 or 5 times, just taking it in. It was nice and it was lovely and relaxing last night. There was no wind, there was completely no sound, and best of all, there was no midges. I slept pretty good last night. I got woke up at about 8 o'clock in the morning by the ducks. There's only 2 ducks on this loch, and they woke me up this morning. So I've started packing my tent down, started putting my stuff away just while I'm waiting for my coffee to cool down. There was a woman has walked down just past the tent there, and she's in the water. She's in the water swimming about there. Some woman come down there and she's going for a swim. I'm not going to record it too much, but fair play to her. Looks freezing and she's just walked right in there like. She was telling me that her husband, so he's away for a walk up on top of Dawn, and she's going for a swim around the loch, and she says she does it in the winter time, summertime, any time of the year. I'm glad that I came down here because it's sort of still early in the year, and I know that when you come down here in a month or two, you're just going to be completely swamped with midges, and we don't want that there. That's crap. So I'm glad that I came down early in the year. So tell you what, folks, I'm going to finish my coffee off, brush my teeth, wash my face, and then I'll show you how to pack this Lanshan one down, and then back home. Right, so that's the coffee finished. I was just packing up the stuff on the inside of my tent, and there was a couple of people came down. There was a man walked past there, a guy called Jim. He was camping on top of Sleeve, Lanshan. He said that he seen me down there and around last night. I was stopping talking to him for maybe 15 minutes. So if you're watching this, Jim, it was nice meeting you. It's always nice to stop and talk to people. But listen, time to get this tent packed up. Right, so it is time to pack up the tent. Now, packing up the tent is simple enough. All I do is take out the pegs, remove the tracking pole, I fold it up into 3 parts, then roll it up as tight as I can and get it into the stuff sack. That's it, all done, time to go. This is where we pitched last night. Obviously leave no trace. I have my rubbish bag inside the top of my rucksack, and it's time now to head up to the top of this hill and then go for about 7 or 8 kilometers more back to the car park. Alright folks, I think that we'll call it quits here. I'm looking forward to the walk home. It's been an amazing camp. Thanks for coming along with me. If you've enjoyed it, consider hitting the subscribe button or checking out some of my old videos. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye, Lanshan.